Kenny, where Kenny at?
Oh, we got to finish this video. I got caught up with personal life shit. Shout out to K-Dot, Kenny Mike, Kenny Hill, dropping the Waffle House EP with a lot of fire on it. Go check it out. I did a music video for it. Yeah, bro. Fire, man. But you know what else is fire?
What's that?
Oh, wait. That's my phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, crap. It's 2. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
It's time for the latest episode of Don't At Me with Mike and Alex, baby! We're back in studio. We're live from Studio A in Beverly Hills.
Yes, we are.
422 has come. Here we are. Hope everyone had a fun, safe, and very munchy-filled 420.
Hey, so speaking of back, my guy is back. The brow is back for the Lakers. Shout out Anthony Davis. I love it.
No. I'm tired of Anthony Davis talk. You know who the real shout-out goes to?
Who?
My mom. Happy birthday, Mom, on 420.
She's a 420 mom. You know, that means she's lit.
27 again, as usual. And the same thing for my good friend Justin Williams, Justin Valentine, whichever alias you're going by these days. Rita Denham, happy birthday. All love from the guys that Don't At Me. And also a special place in my heart to both my mom and my other moms.
Yeah.
So, you know what's special now?
What's special? We gotta get to it.
The New York Knicks of all teams we're talking about.
Spike Lee's alive.
We need to get a video of AI and it's saying, we talk about the Knicks?
They're talking about the Knicks?
We talking about the Knicks?
They're on an 8-game winning streak, the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference.
Overtaking the Celtics and the Hawks. Look, all right, so the first point I want to start with is this. I've covered a couple of the games that they've had as of late. Specifically, one of the most outstanding games to me was Julius Randle dueling Zion Williamson and out-hustling him. And the thing that I recognized is Julius Randle and Zion's game are very similar in that Zion has two things that Julius Randle does and nothing else. Drive to the right side of the basket and try and get a foul or a layup, or drive to the left side and do the same thing. Randle's extended his game. He's now a 3-point threat. He's willing to also pass. He's an assist machine. He's also rebounding at a high degree. The guy is exactly what Kobe Bryant said he was. Lamar Odom trapped in, whose body was it again?
I can't remember.
I don't want to say Chuck Hayes because that's a diss to Chuck Hayes and also a dick to
but you gave a great name. He reminds you of Zion without the bounce, you know what I'm saying, the explosiveness. So what you have to do, I have to mold and get my game better. Like they call him bully ball. Like if you watch the All-Star game, they were like bully ball every time he had the ball because he hits you in the chest and he goes and scores. But now he can do that. He can post up, fade away jump shots, catch and shoot threes, pull up threes. Like this is what you call a guy working on his game and becoming a better basketball player. I'm saying it right now. He is a top 25 player in the NBA right now.
Yes, currently he is.
Yes.
With the way that he is playing and what he's doing for the Knicks organization, we understand that there are a lot of factors for the Knicks also having this rise. Let's not forget the guys like Reggie Bullock, who's now become a consistent and legitimate threat on the wing for other teams to actually have to cover. Derrick Rose coming in off the bench as a sixth man who's really a fringe starter at this point and should be to some teams, right?
Yeah.
He is outplaying expectations, and he's definitely providing a true insight to what the Thibodeau system is and bringing these young guys up. I mean, there are so many different facets to this Knicks team, and let's not forget, they're doing this all without Mitchell Robinson.
Mitchell Robinson,
Julius Randle is the most improved player this year, hands down.
Not even he should be unanimous.
Yes, it should be a unanimous most improved player award because Julius Randle is doing things that no one ever expected. He finally has what all players seek on teams.
Hey,
you know what that is?
What's that?
The green light. And you know the one thing he's doing with it?
What's that?
Delivering wins.
Yeah.
Julius Randle is big time. And it pains me to say it because I am a Celtics fan, but the NBA is better when the Knicks are winning, and the storylines are much richer.
It's the Mecca. You gotta have them.
You have to have it, especially right now with the Nets' rise to prominence. The battle for New York is a thing, just as the battle for Los Angeles is.
If we can get a Knicks-Nets series, it will be so amazing. Like the crowd will be
hopefully first round.
Crazy.
That way I don't have to see either team go far.
Facts. That would be really dope. But like you said, you mentioned Rose, you mentioned Bullock, but you have like Quickly off the bench, a guard
Quickly is playing
that's giving them really good offense. You got R.J. Barrett, who people forget about, who was the number 2 overall pick last year, who's playing some really good basketball. He's a little up and down, but for the most part, he does his job.
He's doing one thing that everyone criticized him for, and that is knocking down the three-point shot.
Yeah, he's able to make some shots.
He is now actually a legitimate three-point threat that you have to respect. So when you have Bullock on the wing as well as R.J. Barrett, and you have Derrick Rose on the floor, that means you have 3 guys that you have to actually be honest on defense, guarding them out on the perimeter, making sure that they're covered. And it means that Julius Randle has an easier drive to the basket. And it means that all these other players are going to get more easy touches.
And then they're playing great defense, which is much credit to Tibbs. Speaking of your Celtics, he was the defensive coach that helped you guys win that championship. He's brought that whole attitude over to the Knicks, and they're like a top 3, top 5 defensive team. It's just a unit. We're so used to seeing star power. They're just a great unit with Julius taking off, which is crazy because last year I thought this is what we would get from Julius and the Knicks, but I was a year too early. But now they're putting it all together, and this is going to entice a free agent to say, man, like,
we can play here.
If Julius is going to be this guy, because it's a contract year for him, so I know that's added bonus to him, so he's like, I really need to play hard. But if he keeps this up and can carry this going forward, you can add another free agent to it. The Knicks look very, very promising,
Yeah, they really have set themselves up super well, especially after all of the issues we've heard off court with James Dolan, with Charles Oakley, with Spike Lee, and how it's basically
Patrick Ewing in the arena.
Ewing as well. Like, it's put this really dampening and sour image towards the Knicks. And they've been able to make things work regardless of the outside noise. And now you have guys who are fair weather fans like Stephen A. Smith, who I'm going to call out on this one, coming back saying his Knicks team is back. Look, if you're really that big of a fan, let's talk about your team more. That way we get to hear about the inefficiencies of your team before you're actually a fan again. So then we can actually articulate and see that you're a real fan.
I got something for you. At one point, I'm always a Laker fan. Always, that was from birth. But at one point, I was a partial Knicks fan. You know why? Because Stephon Marbury was playing there, and that was my favorite player.
Okay, I'll give it.
So I like the Timberwolves, the Nets, and then he was at the Knicks. I'm like, oh yeah, Stephon's there. He's back at home. But
it's the same thing. I feel like that's the same applicable message with Carmelo Anthony. I was a fan of his on the Nuggets, even though he was on the Knicks, and they were taking my Celtics out in that first round series that we almost came back on. I love watching Melo's game. Seeing him in Portland is great. Yeah, I rooted for him in OKC. We all rooted for him at OKC. But oh my God, the Knicks are back to prominence again. It's great to see because this playoff run is now even more richer with storylines.
Hey, give us the greatest conference finals ever. Lakers, Clippers, Knicks, Nets. That would be crazy. LA, New York. Oh, that would be amazing. But Philly's looking amazing, so they'll probably be there. But hey, shout out to the Knicks. Keep it up, Julius. I'm so proud of you.
Get well, Kemba. Please come back. Lead us back to being the fourth and third place.
Hey, I call the Knicks, I call the Pelicans the Lakers South. I call the Knicks the Lakers East because they got Julius Randle. So
You're going to say that literally with any team.
Any team that gets our star.
Yeah, I could have said that with the Heat when they had Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. I can say that about the Rockets now because they have them both.
You didn't say it.
I could have said that about the Lakers last year with Rondo.
That's one player.
Boston South. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? Yeah, there we go. But get out of here. You know the one thing I'm not feeling good about?
What's that?
This NBA season has delivered the biggest highs and the lowest lows. And right now we are finally experiencing the lows with all of the injuries that have occurred.
Yes.
Let's go through the list of players that have been either in or out of the lineup or out indefinitely for the season.
Let's see it. You got
so some of the players. Jamal Murray, Trae Young, Denny Avdia, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Gordon Hayward, TJ Warren, Victor Oladipo, Mitchell Robinson, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, now Donovan Mitchell, and even Thomas Bryant. And that is an honorable mention given to where the Wizards are as well as his play before the injury.
Hey, shout out to Russ, who's playing amazing. You guys are... Looks like you're going to be in a play-in tournament, so let's see what happens.
And shout out to the best scoring duo in the NBA, and that's Brown and Tatum. But neither there nor there. And just within the last week, specifically, we've lost James Harden, Trae Young, Denny Avdia, Kevin Durant, Jamal Murray, and Donovan Mitchell. This season, fans complained originally about rest purposes as well as, what was the other one? They used load management and rest purposes.
Yes.
We saw this complaint last year, and we've seen this leading up for a couple of years. Well, this is the prime example as to why teams are having to do this.
Yeah.
When you are in such a shortened season with the NBA players came back way too early as compared to normal.
2 months. 2 months compared to 4 months. It's a big difference.
They came back with minimal rest, and they're coming back with an expedited NBA schedule with extra games and a play-in tournament, which puts more stress on their bodies.
They're playing nearly 4 games a week.
See, and that's the issue. So teams, in order to combat that, have to sit their stars, which then leads to two things. One, teams understand the value of the long run. Fans also see the value in going to games that they're saving their monthly checks up for once in a while. And now that the coronavirus pandemic is allowing fans back in the building, you're at the end of the season seeing teams sit their best players. When you're on when you're a fan of, let's say, for the Detroit Pistons, right? Yeah. You're not going necessarily to the game to watch the Pistons. You're going to watch the team that they're playing against. True. And you're not getting to see the star players, which leads to fan frustration and media frustration because we're not getting the top talent that we need and deserve, right? And from the team perspective, we are not going to put our players at risk. Jamal Murray's injury is prime example. When you have a guy going 24/7
he shouldn't have been in the game at that point.
He shouldn't have been in the game, but when you have a team that runs a player, especially a star player who's the second, if not most important player, or tied most important player in the team, and you're running him into the ground in such an expedited season with minimal turnaround, it's no wonder that more players are succumbing to injuries, whether it's a couple week injuries or it's an entire season's worth.
And I think that's where coaching really came in. Coaches should have really focused on rotation. We have 15 guys that can suit up. We need to find a way to play all of these guys throughout the year so we can keep our guys fresh. Like, shout out to Phil Jackson with those Laker teams that won the back-to-back. It was games that Josh Powell and Mobanga would play because Phil Jackson knew the importance of resting some of these veteran guys through the season. And I think a lot of these coaches, they only play 9 guys, 8 guys to where, man, use everyone. Why isn't Bobo playing? He should play more so that you can rest the Jokic's and guys like that because, the focus is the playoffs. But the seeding really matter right now. It's not true home court advantages and stuff like that. So I think a lot of it is the coaches. And then the players, like some of these guys lift weights before the games, may lift weights in the morning. They show up to the games like, you have to know how to rest your body, take care of your body more. And then they try to blame the media, they say, because it's all about championships. So what's the importance of the regular season? So they're going to sit out. But I just truly, truly hate that they sit out these big nationally televised games to where I'm like, I'm about to see Lakers Celtics. I'm going to see this guy match up against this guy. And you come to the game, neither of them playing. It's like, come on, man.
And that's also
come on, man.
And that's the tight line that these teams are walking on. Because as media members and also true fans of the game, we can understand and appreciate the concept of, okay, we have this matchup going into tonight's game. We don't necessarily need the stars to play. And with the playoffs coming, we want to sit them, make sure that they're at their peak health.
To an extent.
And it's just this season in particular, unlike any other season, because of the expedited schedule return, because of the expedited schedule in general, the extra play-on
COVID
games,
testing, all of
that players are finally succumbing to these injuries.
Yes.
We are finally seeing more injuries occur, and the psychological aspect is in order to prevent those injuries, teams prevent their players from playing, which ruins team camaraderie, which can put a wedge between stars and also their quote-unquote regular guys on the roster. It makes a big issue, and the media doesn't do it justice because we overblow it, which causes teams to react even more, which causes the NBA to react even more. It's a isolated incident for this season that we won't see as much going forward.
Because they're going to get their 4 months off. Only difference I would say is that some of these injuries that are occurring, or I wouldn't even say rest, like the ACL, like the broken ankle. Some of that is just freak accidents, like can happen anytime.
But the idea of
like Anthony Davis, James Harden with the hamstring.
Jamal Murray.
But no, just ACL. I think that was more of a freak accident. But like those guys who have nagging injuries, that's when you kind of like, we can't rush them back because if we do, they're going to play so many games. 4 games in a week is a lot.
But think about the converse too, though. When you know that you're going into a game that potentially means nothing, or the opponent is on paper, right, not up to par to what your team is offensively and defensively, and you know most of the time that you're going in, you're going to get a dub, right? why should I put my star player out there at potential risk of the freak accident?
I understand both ways.
Because this season, more so than ever, has proven that freak accidents are happening more often than not.
True.
Donovan Mitchell's injury, for instance, Jamal Murray's injury, Denny Avdia's injury, Trae Young's injury. Yeah. All of these injuries are freak accidents. Mm-hmm. So it's no longer just worrying about
LeBron's injury.
Yeah, but it's no longer worrying about just a mild ankle sprain, right?
Yeah.
You're having to deal with really rough collisions, and because teams understand the value of these playoff games, right, or the play-in games, for the teams that don't have the star power, they're fighting harder.
I'm tinkering just because as a fan, this sports is entertainment, so I want to be entertained. So I need to see the best of the best. But then someone who has NBA friends and has played sports who realize, okay, if this is a game that we could take a L, maybe I'm gonna just rest up so I can be prepared, because it's about the long run. You know, I know of course, in-season awards are great and all that stuff, but it's about who's walking away with the championship. That's what we're going to talk about. So I can understand both sides of the argument, but it's just the NBA put everybody in a pickle, because when they should have really came back maybe February, the NBA said, nah, we need this. So we're coming back in December after October finished for the prior season. So it was all about the money. So the NBA just has to deal with what's happening to some of these guys.
These are the repercussions for when you want to make a cash grab, and you're also incorporating an extra playoff game into a season that's already condensed. Yeah. Where players really aren't interested in playing.
And I'm not a fan of the play-in,
And I think most NBA players, probably every NBA player this season in particular, is not a fan of it, because this wasn't
unless you're number 10.
This wasn't the time to implement it.
Yeah, true.
The time to implement it was when your stars, when everyone, not just the stars, is healthy and ready to go on a fresh season, with a fresh schedule, with not to worrying about load management, about what
remember they're rushing games in that were postponed early in the year to like, we got to put this in so the 72 game number can be played. So it's just a big mess, but you know, we're still going to watch it, we're still going to enjoy it. Hopefully, fingers crossed that these guys can stay healthy.
I'm just not a fan of the season.
A big finish.
Yeah, that's my hot take. This season, although the bubble season was, to me, not as great, but it was encouraging. It was important for the time in history too, right? Mm-hmm. This season, more so than any other season, including the lockout ones, right? This has been the worst NBA season, because you've also seen the dismay and the disgust upon players' faces more so than ever. And as an NBA fan and a truist, right, a real NBA fan, it pains me to see that the guys who are on the court, who are trying to do the best that they can, are not enjoying it, because they recognize that this is a cash grab and that they could potentially be the next guy down with an injury.
Yeah, so it's a tough situation. Hopefully the season finishes up well. Speaking of season, a new season is coming for the NFL. So the NFL draft, hope you guys are ready for that. May 12th. The schedule will be put out. Will the Patriots trade up and get a quarterback? That would be crazy. But May 12th, the NFL schedule will be released. I can't wait.
All I'm saying is I would love to see that blonde mane of hair rocking a New England Patriots jersey.
Wish
Trevor. I can dream.
But they should have did what I said, which was tank.
Oh my God! If they had Trevor, think about all the offensive weapons they just signed.
Yeah, with Trevor Lawrence.
That's dumb. That's a Madden.
Go up and get Justin Fields. That'll work too. But hey, is that an episode? Did we just slay it like that?
We slayed it so quick we didn't even stop to say to the fans to go check out our social medias.
Oh yeah,
that is at Michael the PG.
PG baby.
I am at HymesLA, HYMESLA. We are don't at me out of Los Angeles. Out of burp in the middle of that one.
Beverly Hills, man, come check us out in the hills. We having fun with it. Knicks, keep it up. AD, welcome back. It's going to be a great finish to the NBA season.
It is.
But I'm getting ready for this NFL season too, baby.
I just want this NBA season to be over for one major reason. Because that these players can get the health and rest they need. And then we can get back to actual basketball that everyone is enjoying.
From October
with June. Fans in the building again.
Yes.
With players excited to play in front of their fans at home.
Almost there.
We're almost there, people. All right, so before we go, we got to give a couple shout-outs. We're giving a shout-out this one to Milk Tats, our good buddy and friend of the show, one of the best tattooers I know around. Yep. He's also a fabulous artist. Go check him out on IG. We got to give a shout-out to our good friend of the show, Nick Hamilton. It was his birthday yesterday.
Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Nick.
One love. Hopefully you had an awesome day.
You know what it is.
Stay safe. We also want to give a nice shout out to Believe Network, BLEAV.
Yep.
They are a sports media company. They have a lot of great shows. We've been checking them out as of late. So do yourself a favor and go check out one of the many programs that they offer.
I got one shout out. WNBA.
Yes.
Jerseys are amazing. The season is coming. Hey, I can't wait. I got my Agumake jersey coming, so I
Real
can't
hoopers
wait.
know. Real hoopers know.
Got my NECA jersey.
There we go. Real hoopers know.
Real hoopers know. Michael and Alex, we are out this thing. Catch you guys next week. Peace!
Let's just acknowledge that was a fucking fire way to go out. That was the best fucking pop right there. Oh, we got it the first time.
The first one better. So that's what matters, baby.
Peace.